With the birth of a new royal prince, many people have been chatting about the line of succession in the British royal family. Queen Elizabeth doesn't appear to be going anywhere anytime soon, but what would happen if her eldest grandson, Prince William, became king? Well, we'll let you know what you can expect if that day ever comes. Before we begin, hit the subscribe button for more great videos from the taco. Let's get started. Name. Needless to say, there are a ton of perks that come with being a king or queen. One of them is that you can pick an entirely new name for yourself if you so choose, and everyone has to refer to you as such. For example, the late King George VI was born Albert Frederick Arthur George. He had quite a few names to pick from, and decided on George to emphasize continuity with his father, King George V. Prince William's full name is William Arthur Philip Louis, but once he's king, he'll be able to choose whatever name he likes. Generally, royal family members choose names that have a long family history of ruling monarchs. So, if you've ever wondered why there are so many Alberts, Georges, and Edwards in the royal family, that's why. But there have been ruling Williams before, and it's possible that Prince William will choose to maintain his current moniker. He would then be known as King William IV, if he doesn't decide to surprise everyone by switching things up. Kate Middleton. Marrying a member of the royal family doesn't automatically earn you certain honored titles. So if Prince William becomes King William IV, what would that make Kate Middleton? Right now, she has the title of Duchess of Cambridge. But that would change if her husband gets a change in status. The rules for royal titles can get pretty confusing, and they differ for men and women. For example, men who are consorts to royal women are bestowed the Prince or Prince Consort title. That's why Queen Elizabeth's husband is known as Prince Philip. Although she's married to a prince because she's a woman who wasn't born into the royal family, Kate doesn't go by the title Princess Consort. If William becomes king, Kate will be a Queen Consort, which is different from being a sovereign queen like Queen Elizabeth. Most people assume that her official title will be Queen Consort Catherine, but most people will likely refer to her as Queen or Queen Catherine. Succession. Currently, Prince William is second in line for the royal throne. If something happened to Queen Elizabeth, her son, Prince Charles, would be the first in line to become king. However, should he choose to abdicate to the throne, or if he's unavailable, Prince William is second in line for the honor. So, in a scenario where Prince William becomes King William, how would that change the current line of succession? The throne would pass to the next member of the royal bloodline, which is his eldest son, Prince George. Even though William and Kate have recently welcomed a new baby boy, Prince Charlotte doesn't have to worry about him stealing her spot in line, thanks to some fairly recent legislation. The latest child would be third in line in the scenario where William is king. His newest nephew being born means that Prince Harry has now been pushed back a slot in line for the throne. National Anthem. In addition to major things like royal titles and succession to the throne, many small things would also need to change if Prince William becomes king someday. These may seem small, but because Queen Elizabeth has ruled for such a long period of time, we're guessing that they'll be hard to get used to. In most countries, national anthems rarely if ever change, but not so in England. Their anthem is currently God Save the Queen, and that just won't do for obvious reasons if William becomes king. That means it will have to change to God Save the King, and many female pronouns will have to be switched to male. This will definitely take some getting used to, whether you're a member of the royal family or a commoner. Newly minted. In addition to the national anthem, all of the currency currently used will have to change, from banknotes to coins. New money with William's face will need to be printed and minted immediately once he becomes king. Of course, you can't swap out an entire country's currency overnight. Although the new money will be created post-haste, it will take a couple of years for the new notes and coins to make their way into circulation. It's likely that there is already official artwork of Prince Charles and Prince William, just in case something unexpected happens. This will allow new money to be created as soon as possible. Mourning. Since the Queen has ruled for over 70 years, many people don't remember a time before she was in charge. When Princess Diana and the Queen Mother passed, England experienced waves of public mourning and hysteria. Because the Queen has been around so much longer, we expect the events surrounding her passing to be even more emotional and intense. For about 12 days, things will grind to a complete halt, and even the BBC will cease showing comedic programming to highlight the seriousness of the situation. Most members of the palace staff staff will be sent home immediately and will receive updates via a special hotline number. The funeral will undoubtedly be a star-studded event, and there will be a lot going on behind the scenes. An accession council will be held behind doors at St. James Palace, where a successor will be formally declared. Financial aspect. We know that the palace will close down after the Queen passes, but so will a ton of other British businesses, and who knows for how long. Things won't even start getting back to normal until after the funeral, and that will be nearly 2 weeks afterwards. The ensuing chaos will be a huge hit to the British economy, and that's just the beginning. Not only the funeral, but the impending coronation will both become formal national holidays, and each will come with a price tag of anywhere from about 1.7 to 5.5 billion pounds. Banks, businesses, and stock markets will all need to be closed, and that's not even including the costs necessary to host and promote these events. Most of us have accepted that the Queen can't live forever, but few stop to think about the ramifications of that unfortunate fact. Coronation. On a much happier note, the public will be able to look forward to a new coronation, and for many, it will be the very first one they'll witness in their lifetime. The very first royal coronation was that of another famous William the Conqueror, way back in 1066. Since then, little has changed, and every single king and queen of the United Kingdom has been crowned at Westminster Abbey. We have a feeling this is not something Prince William would change if he should become king. Considering how devastated everyone will be over the loss of Queen Elizabeth, we can only imagine what a lavish coronation Prince William will have, or the gorgeous gown that Kate Middleton will inevitably wear. Queen Elizabeth's coronation lasted for 3 hours and involved over 8,000 guests. We wouldn't expect William to have one quite that long and well attended, but there will no doubt be many important guests there to pay their respects. Documentation. Being the King of England will be a huge responsibility, but it does come with some rather nice perks. For instance, Prince William won't have to stand in line at the DMV, since the ruler of England doesn't have to have a driver's license. He'll have some time at the airport as well, since he won't be needing a passport. Because both of these documents are made official by the king or queen, the actual king or queen doesn't need to have them. That should make traveling a bit easier. Despite not having a license since she was crowned, Queen Elizabeth loves to drive and often insists on driving herself around her estate. Trial. Even more of a benefit is not having to appear in court as a witness or a defendant. The first King Charles appeared in court back in 1649 to answer for the crime of treason. That story doesn't have a happy ending for the first King Charles, and since then no monarch has appeared in court or been asked to give evidence. As far as his personal capacity to appear in court, Prince William would be considered the crown as sovereign and would be immune to prosecution. This means that technically he could commit a crime and not have to answer for it personally. Not that we could see him doing something like that. Charity. Despite having the ability to take on a life of unprosecuted crime, it's likely that becoming king would cause Prince George to focus even more heavily on his substantial charity work. Queen Elizabeth is one of the most charitable people in the world, according to the Charities Aid Foundation. Prince William already has a long history of charity work under his belt, as it's something that he and his wife Kate Middleton are passionate about. Many people assume that the royal family just sits around sipping tea, but for years Prince William worked as a pilot with the East Anglian Air Ambulance Company. He donated the entirety of his salary to an air ambulance charity during his employment, before leaving to have more time for his royal duties. He supports everything from wildlife preservation to medical research, and he and Kate Middleton asked for charitable donations in lieu of gifts when they were married. Daily duties. In addition to being heavily involved with charity work, what will Prince William do all day as king? Considering the fact that he had to quit his day job to help out his grandmother, you've probably guessed that he'll be kept plenty busy with his new position. He'll have to make appearances at many important engagements, including hosting heads of state and throwing parties at the palace. Prince William won't have to grab a passport, but he will have to make many diplomatic trips. He'll be responsible for opening new sessions of Parliament and a ton of other events. In 2015, the Queen carried out a total of 314 engagements, which is more than Prince William, Kate Middleton, and Prince Harry combined. Needless to say, as king, William would be kept incredibly busy. Undoubtedly, he would rely heavily on his wife, Kate Middleton. It might also seem that it's time Prince Harry stepped up to his royal duties to help out the family. Moving. Currently, Prince William and his family live at Kensington Place, but that will change if he becomes king. This was where his late mother, Princess Diana, lived until she passed away, so undoubtedly the move will be a bit bittersweet for William. He will need to move his family into the grand Buckingham Palace. They will have to get used to living in an 8-story building with nearly 800 rooms in it, which is quite the adjustment. But at least it'll be convenient considering the insane amount of entertaining that Prince William will have to do there. The kids will have much more room to play, and they'll even have more servants ready and willing to help them with everything that they could need. Christmas broadcast. Even their Christmas holidays will need to change somewhat if Prince William becomes king. One important event is the Queen's annual Christmas broadcast, and people look forward to it the same way we look forward to seeing the ball drop on New Year's Eve. It's been a tradition since 1932 when King George V sent all of England a Christmas message via the radio. Queen Elizabeth continued the tradition and delivers a live television broadcast each year. Considering the fact that Prince William has a doting wife and 3 beautiful children, we would expect to see all of them make an appearance on the new King's Christmas broadcast. It's an important part of the Christmas celebration, and we are sure it's one that Prince William would continue. The Church. In addition to being the king, Prince George would also assume the title of Supreme Governor of the Church of England. Because the church is a Protestant Anglican church, Prince George would need to remain committed to the Anglican religion. For a long time, members of the royal family were forbidden to marry Catholics because of the conflict of interest. Now it's acceptable to marry a Catholic, but if their children are Catholic as well, they're ineligible for inheriting the throne. So we hope that Prince George is happy with his faith, because if he becomes king, he'll have to stick with it or be forced to abdicate the throne to his son, Prince George. Do you think that we'll see Prince William assume the throne someday? Or do you think that there's no way Prince Charles would ever give up his spot? Tell us who you think will be the next patriarch of the royal family in this comment section. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos from the Taco. Bye for now.